Namaskaram. So let's discuss important news article from the month of July 2024. So in this video, I am going to discuss about 20 important areas of news from the various dimensions like from history, from geography, from society, from culture, from politics, governance, constitutions, economic development, security, social justice, environment and ecology, biodiversity, disaster management. So these are various areas and we are going to talk about each and every issue in a very comprehensive manner or in a detailed manner. Detail for prelims perspective, okay? For men's perspective, I discuss in another video, but this video is basically for prelims purpose. So let's talk about the first topic. First topic is Boston Tea Party. So this issue is related with the independence of USA. So on July 4th, marked the 248th Independence Day of the United States. Okay, so this July 4th of 2024 marked the 248th Independence Day of the USA. It was a day when Declaration of Independence, that means it is a document which marked the foundation of the USA as a union of states liberated from Britain was signed. So on this date, on July 4th, 248 years ago, this Declaration of Independence is signed. And this Declaration of Independence is basically a document which marked the foundation of the USA as a union of states and liberate this state from the Britain. So this document is signed on July 4th. So Boston, what is Boston Tea Party? Boston Tea Party is actually it is an event which took place on December 16, 1773. And it is a political protest by American colonialists against the British government. So American colonialists rebel against the British government for the independence of the USA. And this basically initially it is a political protest. In this event is a response to a Tea Act imposed by the British Parliament. British Parliament imposes a Tea Act on the colonialists of the Britain, which granted the British East India Company as a monopoly on tea sales. So British Parliament enacted a Tea Act in which they granted East India Company a monopoly over the sale of the tea in the American colonies and allowed the sell tea at a lower price than that of the colonial merchants. So let's say colonial merchant sell tea at a $20, but British government give a monopoly to the East India Company to sell the tea in the American colony on a lowest price. That means let's say on 15, and rest of the amount is rest of the gap which loss incurred by the British is fulfilled by the British government. So in this manner, this market become incompetitive for the American colonies. So in protest of this act, Tea Act, American colonialists protested on December 16, 1773. So the colonialists view this as another example of taxation without representation, as they had no representative in the British Parliament to voice their concern or oppose the tax. Okay, if any act is passed, that act is passed with the discussion of opposition as well as supporters. But in this act, there is no representation of the American colonialists, and they do not raise their issue regarding the opposition of this act. So that's why they are very angry related to this act. So in protest, a group of colonists disguised as a Native Americans boarded 3 British ships and dumped 342 chests of tea into Boston Harbor. So on Boston Harbor, they deceive or they disguise as a Native American. Actually, they are American colonists, but they disguised as a Native American and boarded on a British ship, and they sank 342 chests of tea into the Boston Harbor. That's why the name Boston Tea Party. So this event was a significant act of defiance against British authority. That means this act clearly showed the defiance of the American colonialists regarding the British imperialists. Okay, and it contributed to the growing tension and eventually led the American Revolution. So Boston Tea Party is a stepping stone for the American Revolution. So I hope you understand the issue. Through this picture, you can clearly see they sank the tea chests into the Boston Harbor. So this picture remind you of the Boston Tea Party event, which led to the American Revolution. Let's talk about second topic. Second topic is balance of payment. What is balance of payment? Surplus in the BOP. Surplus in BOP means country has more receipt from foreign transaction than payment made to foreign entity. Let's say in India and China. If India have a BOP surplus, that means we receive more receipt of foreign transaction than China. Okay, let's say we received as a receipt of import, like let's say $500 million, but China received less than 500 million. So this is basically called a surplus of BOP. That means country has more receipt from foreign transaction than payment made to foreign entity. Let's say if we import something, then we export something. Then our export is more than import for any country. In this scenario, our foreign transaction is higher with respect to other country. And in this case, BOP is in surplus. BOP must theoretically balance. Okay, BOP must theoretically balance, but this does not mean the sum of the current account and the capital account is zero. Balance does not mean the sum of current account and capital account is zero in a practical term. It has to be balanced, but not in such a manner that capital account and current account sum of the both is equal to zero. Discrepancy often arises due to the error and omission. Discrepancy in the BOP is arises due to the error as well as omission. Okay, when somewhere on in some area error occur or we omit some data, then in that case discrepancies occur. So the balance include current account, capital account, and changes in official reserve to account for discrepancy. So for discrepancy, changes in current account, changes in capital account, as well as changes in official reserves are main cause of it. Okay, so you can clearly see balance of payment, import, export, financial assets. Okay, so if export of any country is more than import, that means BOP of that country is positive or in a surplus. Now let's talk about next topic called capital account. The capital account in the BOP, balance of payment record, is all transactions related to the acquisition and disposal of financial assets and liabilities between a country and the rest of the world. Okay, so all transactions related to the acquisition and disposal, all transactions related to the acquisition and disposal of financial assets and liabilities between countries and rest of the world. So this is the definition of capital account. Okay, remember, all transactions related to acquisition and disposal of financial asset and liabilities between country and the rest of the world. So in this capital account, FDI occurs. So what is FDI? This involves investment from one country into another, where the investor gains a lasting interest in the enterprise. Okay, if any foreign entity invests in India, so that is called FDI, and from that investment, that entity gains a lasting interest. FDI is a key component of the capital account. Remember, what is portfolio investment? Portfolio investment is a part of capital account. Portfolio investment, this investment in financial assets such as stocks and bonds in foreign country. Okay, if any foreign country invest in India in terms of bond and stocks, that come under the portfolio investment. Portfolio, as the name suggests, stocks and bonds. So unlike FDI, portfolio investment do not offer control over the business entity, but still form part of the capital account. In portfolio investment, there is no control over business entity. But in FDI, foreign country or foreign investor have a control over that. So what is external commercial borrowing? This is also a part of the capital account. So ECB, these are loans availed by the country resident from the non-resident lender. Okay, let's say I'm in India, so I lend some money from the foreign lender or non-resident who are not residing in India. That is called external commercial borrowing. So between resident and non-resident, if any transaction, if loan is availed by the resident, then it is called ECB. So ECBs are recorded in the capital account as they represent cross-border borrowing. Okay, because between resident and non-resident, it is a cross-border borrowing. That's why ECB come under the capital account. Grant in aid. These are transfer given by one country to another without any requirement of repayment. So in case of grant and aid, there is no requirement of repayment, and it is transfer given by one country to another for any purpose. So these grants and aid, they are not considered part of capital account. Instead, they fall under the current account or the financial account, depending on the nature of the transfer. So remember, grant and aid come under current account, but ECB's portfolio and FDI come under the capital account. Because FDI, foreign entity, investment of foreign entity, in ECB's loan is lent by the resident from the non-resident. In terms of portfolio, stocks and bond are purchased by the foreign country. So FDI, portfolio, and ECBs are part of capital account, and grants and aid are part of current account. So through this picture, you can clearly see this is the chart prepared for capital account, current account. What is the contribution of FDI? What is the contribution of ECBs? What is the contribution of portfolio investment? So through this chart, through this image, you can clearly understand the capital account. Now let's talk about next topic called Prithvi Air Defense or PAD. So the PAD system is a part of India's effort to develop a robust missile defense shield. So Prithvi, or you can say PAD, is India's effort to develop a robust missile defense shield. PAD had a successful first test, where it intercept a target missile, demonstrating its capabilities. Okay, so its first test is successful, and in that test, this Prithvi Air Defense intercept a target missile, and this is the purpose of this defense system. So remember, Prithvi Air Defense, a robust missile defense shield, and it successfully conducted its first test by intercepting a target missile. So clearly see, this is a PAD system, Prithvi Air Defense. Now let's talk about next topic. Next topic is People's Biodiversity Register. So what is PBR? Tajakhara, a Gram Panchayat in Alappuzha and one of the first in Kerala, has created and published People Biodiversity Register or PBR involving local communities. Okay, so this is a first in the Kerala in a Gram Panchayat called Tajakhara in the Alappuzha district, and they created and published the PBR with the help of the local community. So what is PBR? Remember the state Kerala, okay? One of the first in Kerala, okay? There are maybe these types of PBR are in other states, but one of the first in Kerala. So what is PBR? PBR serves as a comprehensive record of locally available bioresources. So what is the bioresources which are locally available? PBR recorded all the data related to that, including the landscape and demography of a particular area or village. Okay? So landscape and demography of a particular area or village are recorded in the PBR, and it is a comprehensive record of landscape, demography, and locally available bioresources. It is prepared by BMC, Biodiversity Management Committee, under Biodiversity, and this committee is formed under the Biodiversity Act 2002 in consultation with local communities. Okay, so it take into consideration the local community, and this PBR is prepared by the Biodiversity Management Committee. So through this picture, you can clearly see conservation of biodiversity, animals, their landscape, their geography, okay, and detailed account of all those landscape and geography. Now let's talk about another topic called Biodiversity Heritage Site, BHS. So BHS are well-defined area that are unique, ecologically fragile ecosystem, and this ecosystem may be terrestrial, coastal, inland, marine, all this type of things. So it is a well-defined area, unique and ecologically fragile ecosystem, and having rich biodiversity, comprising of any one or more of the following components. So these are below components are given. On the basis of that component, we categorize BHS. And remember, important point, these are a unique, ecologically fragile ecosystem and rich in biodiversity. And these ecosystem are terrestrial, coastal, inland, marine. So what is the you can say component of it. First one is richness of wild as well as domesticated species on intra-specific category. So or intra-specific category. So first criteria is wild must be enriched in richness of wild as well as domesticated species. Domesticated species are present, wild richness of wild is present, or intra-specific categories are present. Second, high endemism, presence of rare and threatened species. Third, keystone species, or you can say species of evolutionary significance. So these are criteria on the basis of which we define BHS. Fourth one is wild ancestors of domestic cultivated species or their varieties. So first, richness of wild. Second, high endemism. Third, keystone species. Fourth, wild ancestor. Fifth, past preeminence of biological components. And it is represented by fossil beds and having significant cultural, ethical, and aesthetic value and are important for the maintenance of cultural diversity. So past preeminence of biological components, with or without a long history of human association with them. Okay, maybe the association of long history of human occur or not, but past preeminence of biological component, which are represented by fossil beds and having significant cultural, ethical, and aesthetic value, also form a part of the BHS. So richness of wild, high endemism, keystone species, wild ancestor, and past preeminence of biological component. All these are a criteria for the BHS. Under Section 37 of the Biological Diversity Act 2002 (BDA), the state government, in consultation with local bodies, may notify in official gazette area of biodiversity importance or biodiversity heritage site. Okay, so Section 37 said that. Section 37 of Biological Diversity Act said that the state government, in consultation with the local bodies, notified in official gazette area of biodiversity importance as well as or as a biodiversity heritage site. So biological importance area, state government in consultation with local government may declare biodiversity importance area as a biodiversity heritage site. Once the BHS is notified by the state government, the National Biodiversity Authority or NBA may support the initial establishment of BHS financially by allocating adequate funding support as a seed money through State Biodiversity Board. Okay, so when state government notify a biodiversity heritage site, then National Biodiversity Authority support that project by giving funding financially to the BHS and as a seed money through the State Biodiversity Board. Okay, through this board, NBA give funding to the BHS. So remember the name of the body: State Biodiversity Board as well as National Biodiversity Authority. Okay, when state government approve, NBA give funding to BHS with the help of SBB. So simultaneously, the financial requirement of BHS may be included in the annual budget of the local body. Initially, it may that financial requirement of BHS is included in the annual budget of the local bodies. State government may also allocate adequate seed money to each BSL on its notification through SBB. So through State Biodiversity Board, state government allocate adequate seed money to each BHS. Nallur Tamarind Grove. Remember, Nallur Tamarind Grove in Bengaluru, Karnataka was first biodiversity heritage site in India declared in 2007. So Nallur Tamarind Grove is the first BHS in India and it is located in Karnataka, Bengaluru. Aminpur Lake was country's first water body to be designated as a biodiversity heritage site. Remember, first water body, not first BHS. First BHS is Nallur Tamarind Grove, but first BHS water body is Aminpur Lake. I think Aminpur Lake is in Hyderabad. I'm not sure. Just check it on the Google. But in my mind, I think I read about Aminpur Lake somewhere. So these are biodiversity heritage site. Example of biodiversity heritage site. Okay. Now let's talk about another topic called aphelion point. What is aphelion point? When you look at the solar system, okay, sun, earth, moon, sun, earth, moon. So aphelion is when Earth is farthest from the sun. Okay, let's say in elliptical orbit, sun is there. So when Earth is farthest from sun here, that point is called aphelion point. So in aphelion point, Earth is farthest from the sun in its elliptical orbit, approximately 152 million kilometers away. This event occurs annually in early July, contrasting with perihelion in early January when Earth is about 147 million kilometers close. Okay, so when Earth is close to sun, approximately 147 sorry 147 million kilometers, it is called perihelion, and when it is farthest, it is called aphelion. And this perihelion occur in July, and this aphelion occur in July and this perihelion occur in January. So these are annual events. In January, perihelion, and in July, aphelion. In aphelion, farthest from the sun, perihelion nearest from the sun. So despite the 5 million kilometer of difference in perihelion and aphelion, the tilt of Earth axis primarily determine seasons. Okay, we know that Earth is tilted by 27.5 degree on its axis. So the tilt of that of Earth determine the season, with aphelion receiving about 7% less sunlight compared to perihelion. Okay? So remember, aphelion, that means farthest, which is at that point farthest from the sun, receives 7% less sunlight compared to perihelion. Of course, perihelion is closest, so it receives more sunlight than the aphelion. So through this picture, I could clearly see this is the sun, 147 million kilometers. This is perihelion nearest. This is aphelion, and this Earth, when Earth is at this position, they receive 7% more light than aphelion. Now let's talk about next topic. It's called credit deposit ratio, or CDR. So CDR is a financial metric that shows the percentage of a bank's total deposit that are given out as a loan. So what percentage of bank total amount is given as a loan is called CDR. The higher CDR, that means bank give more percentage of loan as per their deposit. This means large portion of bank deposit is being used for lending, which can impact liquidity and credit risk. Let's say they lend more percentage of their money, but when a crisis occurs, people demand their money immediately, then a liquidity crisis as well as credit risk occur. So RBI, Reserve Bank of India, directed bank to narrow the gap between credit and deposit growth, aiming to reduce the CD ratio. That means lend less percentage of money as per your deposit. So according to the RBI Financial Stability Report, FSR, CD ratio has risen steadily, reaching 78.8% by December 2023. That means banks give more percentage of their deposit as a loan. So over 75% of banks with CD ratio above 75% are private sector banks. So remember, private sector bank give more, you can say lend more money as percentage of their deposit. So 75% of bank with CD ratio above 75% are private sector bank, and RBI tried to reduce it. And report FDR FSR report said that by December 2023, this CDR is rose up to 78.8%. So through this picture, I can clearly see lending of money by the bank for purchasing of house, motor, or other stuff. Now let's talk about next topic called liver, and last topic of today's discussion. So what is liver? Liver is the largest gland and solid organ. Gland, it secretes some juice in our body. So liver is the largest gland and solid organ in the human body, playing a crucial role in various bodily functions. So liver play a crucial role in many bodily functions, and it is the largest gland and solid organ in the human body. So insulin is produced by the pancreas and not by liver. So remember, insulin is produced by the pancreas, not liver. Many people confuse that liver produces insulin, but no, insulin is produced by the pancreas. So the liver, however, play a role in regulating blood sugar by storing and releasing glucose. Okay. So liver control the sugar level by releasing as well as absorbing glucose or storing glucose. So insulin production is the work of pancreas, and controlling regulating blood sugar is a work of, just a minute, yeah, work of liver. Liver also synthesize various proteins, including those necessary for blood clotting. Okay, when something happen to our body, let's say scratch happen or cut happen, then blood clotting is necessary for the prevention of any disease or that body part. So it also liver also synthesize various protein, including those necessary for blood clotting. So remember, insulin is a work of pancreas, regulating blood sugar as well as synthesizing various proteins or related like blood clotting types are work of liver, and it is the largest gland and solid organ. So in this picture you can clearly see this is the liver which regulate the blood sugar as well as synthesize protein which are helpful in blood clotting. So this is all about from today's lecture. I hope you love this lecture, you enjoy this lecture, gain some perspective, some knowledge out of it. So keep learning, keep enjoying and spreading knowledge in the whole world related to any area in which you are good. So namaskaram. Thank you.